Okay, so welcome back to Prison Yard TV. If you already haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscription button. Subscribe to the channel. Help me support my channel by helping it grow by hitting that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Today I'm doing, as you see the old thumbnail. Today is part 4 of Penitentiary games. And I left off with little man telling old boy the truth about how the phone got to, and old boy walked back to, doing what he was doing in the day room. So, there was animosity in the building, at least in the building, and probably on the whole yard. And now rumors are starting. Rumors are starting that dog got the Southsiders phone to, rumors just, they don't know what's going on. So a whole bunch of rumors are going around. That's why I was getting all them kites under my door. And when police see all these kites going under the door, they get suspicious. They know something's going on. There was a stabbing 3 days before on the yard, Southsiders on Southsiders. They know it was a removal. And no telling, I don't wanna put a jacket on old boy, but no telling, you never know what old boy went back to the hole and told them. He might have told him the truth. He might not have even said anything. We never know, because we're on the other side. So we ain't gonna know what this cat went back and told them people back there. So we're on high alert. My crew, all the Crips, all the blacks are on high alert. So I'm getting all these kites, and I'm kind of paranoid in the cell, not because of no funk that might be happening, because I don't want my cell hit and them coming in there to get anything, to find anything. Now, at this time, my hiding spot was in my TV. That's where I kept one of my phones at, my personal phone, in my CD player, in my TV. And it was a for sure spot at this time. I wasn't worried about them coming in finding my phone. I was worried about them coming in finding my tobacco. Because if you guys know, tobacco is very bulky. So I had my tobacco put up in my food items and my hygiene items. I had a lot of tobacco. Um, the other contraband, as far as the dope that I was selling, that little man had, he had that shit hooped. So I wasn't worried about losing that. But in case they came when we wasn't aware and my phone was out, I was probably going to lose it. Now I'm going to tell you another spot that I had in there. And I know I'm going to get comments, why you telling about these people about all the spots? I'm out of the penitentiary now. I'm telling people stories about what I went through. This is my story. This is what I went through in prison. This ain't nobody else's story but mine. And I think the people should know. I think the people should know what we're up against when we're in prison, and what we have to go through in order to keep it cordial on the yard with other entities. So, like I said, this went on for 3 days until little man showed him the write up in the day room. Dude was satisfied with the write up, and he would get back to me, and he said give him a couple of days about the charger, because I pressed that issue. I needed a charger, and at the time I didn't feel like I should have to go buy another charger, or I'd have to get another charger sent up in there. So I figured, it was his people. They lost the charger. They removed him. So now he took that debt. He owes me a charger. The Southsiders owed me a charger. So this is what happened. This tastes good. First cigarette of the day. Anyways, so what happened was, we finish up with day room. We go back in the cell, and I made sure everything's secure. Now, mind you, my community phone that I rent out, and when I don't rent it out, I let little man use during the night. He stays up pretty much all night until he goes to work. Man, he might take a little nap, but he's usually on the clap. So so what happens is, after that incident, after the talk with the number 2 in the building, the next day everything was normal. Nothing happened the next day. But the day after that, I went to bed about 11 o'clock. Watched my program. I went to bed at 11 o'clock. At 5 a.m. in the morning, I'm in C-section. C-section At the end of, okay, so these buildings are just, if you're up above these buildings in a helicopter looking down, their design is a U. You can see it, it's a U. A bank, B bank, C bank. The way that we come in and out the building is through the center. There's a rotunda and there's a cop up above it. He's in the tower and he controls all the cells. He controls the microphones. He controls everything in the building. He controls in a control booth up above this. Now on C bank, there's an emergency exit, and on A bank, there's an emergency exit. And when there's a riot or a fight or something, the police run through the rotunda and they run through the side doors. Now, mind you, my cell is midway, almost exactly midway in C section. So if the cops came in through C section exit door to do a search, they're going to have to go down 12 cells. I believe it's 12 cells to get to me. I'm right before the shower. 5 a.m. in the morning. This is little man's day off. Dog, they're coming. He hits my bed. They're coming. Little man was up, and he heard him come through the door, and he heard the keys, and he looked out the little crack, and he seen all these police coming in the building. Now that means we're going to get raided. Now this is where the manipulation tactic in penitentiary games come into effect. And I'm gonna jump the gun here because what I know now and what we found out later is somebody was dropping kites. And somebody was dropping kites saying that the Crips and the Southsiders were going to get into it over a phone. It's not a you don't need a rocket scientist to figure out that we got caught with the phone. And you don't think the police went through that phone and seen that it was a Southsider's phone? All they had to do was open the phone up. They got a machine. I told you in episode 2 or 3 that they got a machine in prison. If you have a Android phone, they can hook your phone up to it, and it breaks the code to open up the phone. iPhones, they didn't have it when I was there. They couldn't open iPhones. But I had old boy had an Android. So, of course, they opened the phone up. We haven't had the 115 hearing yet, so I don't know what they know yet. So at this time, we're going on speculation that the police probably knew that phone they took out of my cell was a Southsider phone. It had nothing but 213 area code numbers locked in it. He probably had all kind of pictures of his family in it. You don't never know what he had. But assuming, well, I know now that they opened the phone up and they knew it was a Southsider's phone that because after the 115 hearing, the lieutenant told us that he knew it wasn't our phone, and he asked us, do we owe money for that phone because we got caught with it, like we was borrowing it, and that's what they assumed. We never told them anything. So anyway, they come in 30 deep, 15 on A bank, 15 on C bank. Now 15 police, when they come in, they crack your cell door, and a police is at your door. You got to strip out. They make you strip out, bend over and cough. Then they zip tie you in the back, and they put like 5 people, 10 people, 5 cells on the benches while they search 5 cells. And they go to the next 5 cells, put them back, take them out, put them back, etc. Okay, so by the time they got to my cell, I got my boxers on. I got my Cortezes on. I had Air Force Ones at the time. I have my Cortezes on, and I got my tank top on. So I know they're going to make me strip out when they get to the cell. Mind you, everything's put up. Everything's put up as well as I could get it put up. I knew they was coming. I had about maybe 4 to 5 minutes to secure everything, which everything was already put up. Little man was on my phone, but I put it in the TV. I already had the bolts done. I just slapped it in the CD player, put all 4 of my bolts back in, and it was secure. However, my cell, we burnt incense and sage in my cell every night to get the tobacco smell out of it, right? So my cell, I was concerned about the smell in the cell. And tobacco's really not a serious 115. So they come in the cell, they take me and little man out to the bench, and they bring the dog. They got dogs. They got canines in prison on certain yards. And they bring the dog, and they keep going in and out of my cell with this dog like 3 times. And we're watching them because we're sitting on the bench, right? They think the dog is hitting in my cell. And what do you know? I used to keep, these are called snipes in prison, butts of cigarettes. I used to put them out and save them. And I had this big, humongous Ziploc bag full of snipes, and it was like this much, and it was full. It was packed with snipes in it. Basically, cigarette butts. And if you ever took a whole bunch of cigarette butts after you smoke them, Chase, get over here, and put them in a Ziploc bag. It's just black. It's ugly, and it's just looking at it. I mean, we know it's cigarette butts, right? We see this police come out with this dog, and he got the cigarette butts in his hand. That's telling me all he got was cigarette butts out the cell. I ain't too much worried about cigarette butts, even though it was a lot, and I could have re-rolled them. We called them re-rolls. So what I would do is once that bag got full, I would take a razor blade and I'd bust every one of them cigarette butts down in a bowl, and I get a lot of tobacco, but it would be re-rolled tobacco. It would be, like half burnt and half tobacco. And what I do when a homie or someone wanted a cigarette, I sell it to them for $3. And that's what I do, because I wasn't smoking that shit. So he got my personal stash of snipes, man, and I wasn't concerned. However, this man, now mind you, when they come to search like that and they tearing up your shit, the goon squad comes. So the goon squad was in there, and they thought, they came and questioned me and myself. They found it on my shelf. But it was put up in my legal work, which that's slipping. I shouldn't have had that in my legal work. I should have had it in baby powder or something else, even though they search baby powder nowadays. That used to be our spot back in the days. There's so many spots. I seen people hollow out deodorants and put flip phones in deodorants. I'm gonna tell you my best spot I've ever had for a phone is I had a legal brief, and I had a false bottom in it. This dude made me a false bottom, and I passed 5 years with that legal brief until one day they decided to bring the metal wand in there, the metal detector wand, and they wand my mattress, they wanded everything, and it hit on my legal brief. That's how they found out that spot. But I passed 5 years before they found out that spot on that. I seen people take bars of soap, 1 bar of soap, and carve out the middle and put just enough where the cell phone, not a smartphone, a flip phone would fit in that, and then they had more soap they put on top. And I seen them pass like that. I seen all kind of different spots in prison where you used to hide your cell phones. And these are old spots. The police already know about all these spots. There's new spots that the police don't know about. So anyway, they get these cigarette butts, and they're questioning me and my cellie about what it is. And he keeps saying, we're going to test this. And they think it's either weed or heroin. Don't ask me why they thought it was heroin, Black, because you could tell heroin and it didn't look nothing like it. So they thought it was marijuana, man. And it wasn't no trees. It was straight tobacco. Anyways, so that incident happened. Someone dropped a kite. We found out later that not the specific person, but the rumor was one of the cars, I'm not going to say which one, but one of the cars was dropping kites because they thought we was going to go to war with the Southsiders and blacks were going to go to war. So someone was dropping kites saying this. And they said it was over phone. And, of course, the police did their investigation and thought it was me and my cellie, which it was, that lost the Southsiders' phone. So that's what they believe. And what happened was the scenario of this story, because I'm gonna get on to my next story right now. The scenario of this story is the number one. This is what happened. The number one decided that he was gonna replace my charger, man. and I never met him. I never went and talked to him. But the number 2 in my building, it took him about a week, maybe almost a week and a half. I was borrowing someone else's charger to get the charger, and they kept it solid with me. Southsiders in there kept it solid, and I think one of the reasons might have been because I had the bag, I had the sack, and a lot of people in prison, they mess with Christina Aguilera, or they mess with Chiva, they mess with Black, and I had the sack. So I'm thinking that might have been one of the reasons, or it could have just been like solid Southsiders, and they wanted to keep it straight with me, and they knew their folks was wrong and lost my charger, man. We ran them down the whole story. All right, so I'm gonna wrap that story up right there. Now this story right here, I'm gonna give you the background of this story. So I had a cell phone, and I'm in a Donovan level 3, level 3 GP yard in San Diego County, or what it was. What county is that? It was in San Diego. We was right next to the border. We could see the Mexican flag in Tijuana from my cell. That's how close to the border I was. So when I first got there, I was looking to buy a phone. A cat from Fresno, he was the phone man when I first got there, and another cat from Compton, they had phones there. And phones when I got there was $3,500 for a smartphone, and $1,500 for a flip phone. So I went and bought a smartphone. I had bread when I got there. It took me probably about 3 or 4 days when I got there. They checked me out, made sure I was cool, and sold me a phone. I had that phone, mind you. When I got to Donovan, I was on single cell status because a couple years prior to this, I had to stab my cellie in New Folsom, and I'll tell a story about that. Um, he was from my neighborhood, and he was no good. And the paperwork, he had the paperwork in the cell, and I seen it. Anyways, he tried to explain himself. I snatched him off the bunk. I'll get into that story later. Anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked. You guys notice I get sidetracked, and sometimes I'm all over the place. I'm trying to work on that. Anyways, I had the phone for 2.5 weeks, man, and I let somebody use the phone, and they got my phone took, man. Of course, they paid me money for it, for what I paid for it. It took them a while. Okay, sorry about that. I had a phone call coming in, and I had to dismiss that call. Okay, so my phone got took in Donovan. At the time, I was trying to do a move. I was trying to get a bunch of phones in, and I was coordinating that with my phone. So I get a new neighbor that came in, um, and my new neighbor. No, okay, let me back up. Let me give you the backlash of this story. So when I got to Donovan, me and one cat from Oak Park was the only cats there from Sacramento when I first got there. Me and an Oak Park cat, and I knew who he was. He knew who I was. He was way older than me. Anyways, so we the only cats there from Sacramento, which I like that. I like not having a bunch of homeboys on the yard, and there's reasons behind that because you don't get in a lot of bullshit over other people's bullshit. You don't get in a lot of shit over it because you're only accountable for you. And I wasn't accountable for the Oak Park cat, and he wasn't accountable for me. But we talked cordially. He was in my building. I was in 3 building. No, I was in 5 building. On A yard, I believe A yard. Go back and look at the interview I did with prison guard Hector Bravo. He'll tell you what yard I was on in that interview because we discussed this. I forget. I've been on so many yards. I get yards confused sometimes. So anyway, I get a neighbor, and I'm watching my neighbor for about a month, and he's going to visits every week. and he's going to Canteen every month, a Cadillac. He's going to whole Cadillac every month. And with that, in a Cadillac, if you don't know what a Cadillac is, you ain't never been to the penitentiary. When you hear someone say he's going to Cadillac every month, he's spending the maximum amount of money in Canteen every month. That means he's not hustling. He's just his people got money. And I found out he was a D-boy on the street. He was a dope boy, and he was there for drugs. His committing offense was for drug sales. So anyway, I'm watching this cat go to visit. I'm watching him get his money. So I'm using one of the fellas' phones, a San Diego cat. I'm using one of his phones one day, and my next door neighbor, the new cat, he's coming back from shower, and so I call him over to my cell. I'm in the cell by myself. My door's open, so I call him in the cell, and I'm like, "What's up, homie?" And I introduce myself and shit. And by this time, I knew he was cool. Did my little background check on him, right? So he comes in the cell, and he's like, "Man, I gotta go get on the phone right now. I got phone time." I'm like, "Man." Bam, I show him the phone. Bam. I'm like, "Hey, you want to just use this one?" He's like, he's spooked. He looks at the phone. The phone's looking at him. He's looking at the phone. They're looking at each other, and he's spooked by looking at this phone. He's never seen a cell phone in prison, and he's like, "Damn." He's looking at me and he's smiling, but he's backing up away from the phone like it's some kind of poison or something. He's like, "Where'd you get that from?" I'm like, "Man, that ain't no that's they got them up in here, man." I said, "If you want to use it, you can sit down and go ahead and use it, man." He's like, "Are you for real?" Bam, I open the phone up. Bam, I hand it to him. Like, "Take care of your business. I'm gonna step out the cell. I'm gonna be at the first table keeping watch for you, homie. If you hear me whistle, you know the police is walking." He's like, "Bet." I said, "Just pull the I had a sheet going across my window so I could, if I'm shitting or take care of my business in there, I can just pull the sheet." Everyone had them. So I told him, "Just pull the sheet, man. Take care of your business. You got like 30 minutes. He's like, "All right." So he goes in there. He's on the phone. Now I have to go to the cell. He's on the phone for like 45 minutes. I have to go to the cell, and my cell door was open. I cracked the cell, and I'm like, "Hey, homie, you good in there?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up right now." I'm like, "All right." So he hangs up the phone with his girl or whatnot. And I go in the cell, and he's like, "Man, what I got to do to get one of these?" He didn't say, "How much are these? How much are these going for?" He said, "What I got to do to get one?" And I told him, "Man, the price is like $5,000 for these and $2,500 for a flip." Now, of course, I added $1,500 on each phone, and he's like, "What? How do I get the money? How do I get the money to someone to buy one?" I said, "Man, you just have your girl go get green dot cards." That's what we was working with back then. So he's like, "Man, I could call her right now to go get that much money in green dots." So I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna let you slide to the cell." Now I've rented this phone for all day long, so I got the phone all day. I'm like, "Man, you got to be careful, bro. I'll keep a lookout for you. How long will it take you?" He said, "About 15 minutes. Where can she get green dots?" I tell her Walgreens or CVS pharmacy. So I let him go over there. He comes back and he got the whole amount of green dots. Now, mind you, I told you that oh wait, back up. I told him we'd go half. On the phone, and I get it one night, he'd get it one night. I get it one night, he'd get it one night. And that's what he did. He went and got 1,500 more than what the phone costs. No, he didn't. He went and got half of what I told him. Man, I'm just waking up, y'all. I know it's 11 o'clock. I woke up late today, so my mind ain't all the way up all the way up right now. So what happened was, I tell him that we'll go half on the phone. So he goes and gets half of the money in green dots. Now I only got to put in a couple dollars, and we got a phone. And I don't mind him keeping the phone one day. I get it one night, he gets it one night. We switch off days because I don't really need the phone every day, 7 days a week. I just need to take care of my business and coordinate my move I got coming in. I got my girl just got out from doing 10 years in Washington State about the bank robberies I told y'all about before that I was involved in Washington State. she just got out. So I'm trying to get her to come to San Diego, fly down there, and bring me 30 phones. And it happened. I made that happen. I think I told that story already. So, anyways, we get the phone. We get the phone. I go pay for the phone. And you don't want to miss the rest of this story in episode 5, man, in part 5. And I'm gonna show you how I worked him out the whole phone, and it was some animosity. And by the time I did that, I had a couple partners that came from different institutions. One being Big G Man, and the other one being SEMO. And I'll continue this story in episode 5. Check me out. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you like these stories, man, if you guys really like these stories, go on and cash out me $1. $1. Just show your appreciation, your support to my channel. Cash out me $1, man. And I really appreciate that. If you can't do that, hit that like button, and definitely hit that subscription button if you ain't already subscribed to my channel. And I'll check y'all out later on. Check out 12 Rounds of Adrenaline. And this Saturday, we'll be at the boxing matches filming on 12 Rounds of Adrenaline. So check it out Saturday. Much love. Tell the people you love them, and stay blessed. Stack, pray, and stay out the way.